full force back into documentary land to a movie that you and I had talked about. You have seen, I'm quite certain. It's on Amazon. It is called Pennywise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is an absolutely fantastic documentary.
It is. I told you. I loved it.
Especially if you're a fan and grew up with the 90s. I think it was 1990. 1990 miniseries, that was on ABC television. It's all about the development of it. It's got interviews with the surviving cast members, including Curry, who, has not been in good health here lately. I think he had a stroke. He's in a wheelchair, but he's quite coherent and very good in this. They talk with, I want to say, do they talk with someone I guess they just talk with members that knew Harry Anderson. I don't think they have any of his family in there. But Correct. Harry Anderson is obviously no longer with us. John Ritter's no longer with us. I don't think they talked to Jason Ritter, though.
No, they don't talk to any of the family members, but they talk fondly about the two of them.
They do. They do. And then, of course, Tim Reed and everyone else, and O'Toole, who is in the movie. The director of the original miniseries was Tommy Lee Wallace. You remember him?
Yeah. The Shape himself. Yeah.
No. And that's Nick Castle. Tommy Lee Wallace was the ghost in the fog.
Yeah.
And he was also married to Annie from Halloween, who was the assistant to Janet Leigh in The Fog. There's a big connection there with John Carpenter and Tommy Lee Wallace. I had forgotten that he had directed the miniseries.
I remember the thing. He wasn't supposed to, right? He was.
I think wasn't George Romero originally slated, and they kept cutting it, and George just said, "Fuck this, I'm not doing it."
Yeah. It was. So. There was another director who was going to do it, and I'm pretty sure it was Romero. But I think it was. ABC kept putting such constraints on it. He said, "No, forget it. I'm not."
Right. They kept cutting the time down. They went from 10 hours to 8 hours to 6 hours to 4 hours, and Romero was like, "I'm out. I'm not doing this."
And the same thing happened with the writer too, because the writer essentially did the first half and then left the project. Yeah. He took another job and so Tommy Lee Wallace had to write the second 2 hours.
Yeah, he did. He wrote it himself. They talk about the infamous special effects at the end with the spider and how horrible it is and how it's a great movie. Just try not to remember the spider at the end. And why didn't we, just go back and put Tim Curry in, because he was the best part about it.
Hey, I used to say that about the book. Okay, so I'm sorry. I haven't read it in a long time. I really need to reread it, but I do remember I used to make the joke of King is typing away and suddenly looks up and go, "Oh, this is due tomorrow," and then just ends the book with giant spider and this metacosmic horror. We're done. And it was terrible ending. Terrible ending.
Yeah, and he probably knew it, and that's why he tied it into Dark Tower later. I'll finish it here.
To justify it. Yeah.
But anyway, this documentary is excellent. I highly recommend it. It's a little over 2 hours. If you go to Rotten Tomatoes, it rates 100%. That's how good it is. So
it is great.
Definitely recommend it.
Start the car. Johnny has the key.